What's up out there, crypto world? How y'all doing? This is No Noise with Z-Rex. It's been a while since I've done a live one. We did a recorded video a few days ago, earlier in the week. I think that's what I'm going to try to do, like shorter recorded videos for just to have more content, and it's a little bit faster for me to do those, because as y'all know, sometimes I can just start talking about markets forever. So the streams usually end up being about an hour or so, or maybe more. And my time availability has drastically changed in the last couple of weeks because of my business, and it's all generally in good standing though, and it's a good thing. So it's not a big deal. Just trying to figure that out. Maybe I'll do these around lunch. I think like maybe a couple times a week do live, and then the short videos for updates pre-recorded and just upload them. But anyway, hope y'all been awesome out there. I do miss doing these live. It's kind of my preferred way to do it, you know, the interaction with the chat and stuff like that. So all right, anyways, let's get right into this price action, even though there hasn't been that much lately. Let me just check my frames real quick. All right, looks like we're okay on the intronets. All right, share my screen. Good deal. As y'all know, we've been consolidating for a long while here in this lower, or mid, I should say, 3,000 area. After an attempted breakout, actually two of them if you want to count that. I can't even remember the last live stream I did. It was probably a few weeks ago. But yeah, we had this attempted breakout, which kind of created a trend line for us to anchor off of with our second touch. And we kind of just been consolidating from that, trying to get some momentum, but bulls are not really excited at the moment. If you can just see here on the daily, you could see we've tapped this 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 times, however many if you want to count each one of these wicks, but you know, kind of rejection, lower highs every time, even after this big dump. That's not a great sign. And even worse, we're just ratcheting right down the 21 exponential. And if y'all listen to this a lot, the 21 and 55 are very important turning points, especially on daily and upper time frames. You can almost just trade off of those. But let's look at some internals, as you can see here too. On, look at this, guys. DMI ADX is damn just super freaking flat. I mean, it can't get more neutral. Both of these, let me make that a little bigger. That's probably kind of hard to see. We'll go to full screen too. There we go. Yeah, as you can see here, the DMI here has just been super damn flat. Super neutral, as long as with the RSI as well. You can see it's just hovering around the 50 mark. Pretty damn boring. It is tapering off though, the RSI here, while bears are trying to get into the power zone up above the mid 20s. But again, you know, until we really kind of break around 3250 or so, bears can't get too excited right here. As you can see on this lower part, you got some nice support printing on the triple exponential. So yeah, I'm not really too excited. I still am holding my short. I did trim it a little bit when this move happened. No, I'm sorry, when this move happened back over here. Shit, I gotta zoom in. I'm on a daily. Sorry, I thought I was on the 4 hour. Right about here, I did trim some of it just because, you know, it's just been so boring. I'm still fully hedged up and a little bit speculative short. And, you know, this move right here was kind of, to me, the last attempt for these bulls. If we're not going to get going here soon, I mean, you can see DMI power zone on the 4 hour, they're in it. You got RSI below 50, and you do have the bulls almost going into the weak zone. So once they, let's see, we only got 38 minutes on the next candle. Yeah, so once they go below that and the bears stay up here, that's going to be confirmation of probably some more downside action. And as you can see, we're riding this support line pretty hard at about 3,400. You can see this blue line coming in, and there's also a point of control printing at 3,400 as well. So pretty lackluster movement for the bulls. Two big red flags for me that I've seen in the last couple weeks is these attempts to get over the 55 exponential with nice with like good candles, not huge volume, but nice candles, and then they immediately just got rejected within a day. So that's not a great sign for the bulls, and ultimately getting rejected at the midterm 144 exponential. So you know, that's not sexy price action. You want something like this where it can at least get back like above it and consolidate and then have continuation. Again, you're getting rejection once more. So all these dumps are getting rejected very quickly, and you can even see on this trend line where it got rejected too. So I mean, now we are kind of far away from that trend line. There's a possibility that this snaps up pretty hard to, you know, like the upper 3,000s. Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, but right now as I'm seeing it, let's zoom in a little bit. As I'm seeing it, it's looking pretty bad for the bulls. They're trying to fight again here in this consolidation, but again, you know, ultimately riding up, trying, and then getting rejected. And they're not just like slightly getting rejected. There's usually engulfing candles that are getting slapped. Oh man, let me go to just to double check real quick since I can't see it. There we go. All right, good deal. Got some good frames going on. But yeah, so you can see even on this hourly, now we're struggling to get back above our two shorter term moving averages, 21 and 55, and it's even starting to close below the blue dots, which is a triple exponential. That's just really good at like printing supports and resistances ahead of time, kind of like it does right here, as you can see. So not really super great price action. I'm not stoked about this at all, and I don't want to be bearish. A lot of people have been calling me just perma bearish and stuff, but I mean, hey, there's nothing in the charts that tells me I should be bullish on a long-term basis. I mean, we're not even getting dailies close to the 55 at this point. Just a little bit here, but when you have this indecision, see these candles here, these are all dojis. That is signifying indecision in the market and the price. So and then when you have something followed up like this on a day, engulfing all of the prior, you know, 2-3 weeks of price action, that is not healthy by any means. And let's see about some fib action. Let's pull a fib on this. Yeah, and see, now we tried to hold above the 618 for about a week or so, maybe. Oh, actually, that's like a couple of weeks, and finally getting rejected of it, and now it's turning into, it looks to be resistance. So on a shorter time basis, I'm not thinking about taking off my shorts unless we get back above like 3,500. On the last video earlier this week, it was about 3,750, but since we did break down from this consolidation zone, we're gonna have to adjust that, and I'm going to about back to where that 618 is, and you can see my alert over here at about 35.5. So if we get back above that, I will just go back to hedging instead of adding speculative shorts on there. Now, this isn't would I short from right here? Definitely not. The risk to reward ratio is not great at this spot, because you're just at the bottom of the range. You need confirmation, and breaking below, you know, these lows around here, this local low at about 3,300, let's call it, would be a little bit exciting, but ultimately I want to see it get below 3,250 on a 4-hour. If we can do that, that pretty much gives up all of this attempted bull run, and we're probably targeting, let me see, let me clean this up a little bit. Let's see, you could say that this was some type of symmetrical triangle right here before it broke out of this, and if we do use that and do a measured type move, let's just do this for shits and giggles here. Oh my goodness, I gotta get off the auto. for shits and giggles, we're going to be targeting at about 2,800. So I think that's very realistic to go down there. And I don't really like to mention news that much, and it's not really that much news related, but I've been seeing lots of projects come out in the last few weeks, like Grin and a couple other ones, and everyone's all super excited. And it's weird. It's like people still are getting sold into, I can't remember this new one I saw. I just laughed when I saw the title. It's like, oh, it's private. It's a real privacy coin now, and they're still raising, you know, millions and millions of dollars. You know, like that probably means that we haven't quite shaken out all the riffraff. But yeah, measured move is bringing up to the top of this box here, and if we zoom really far out, oh, not like that, like this here, you can see that, you know, there's not really any sexy price action on a higher time frame. This is a 3-day here, and you can see we've been consolidating in the power zone. The bulls have the whole time in all of this action, as well as the bears have been consolidating up here, and the bulls have been in the weak zone this whole time as well. So there's nothing sexy about that at all. And if we go back to, let's see, a weekly, you can see that we've been struggling too the last several weeks to even get back over the 200 exponential, which is this red guy right there. And I mean, look at that. That's pretty textbook. I mean, that's a good thing for trend, just basic, you know, longer term trends. And unfortunately, we can't go back before, you know, about 2015 on this consolidation, which was nice. You see how it bounced off of it a bunch of times before the big run up, and now we're kind of like doing the exact opposite. And that's also why I think it's dangerous to just load shorts right here, because the space between this trend line and the exponential, you know, that's a good $500. That's too much risk for me to take to be in a large position and be short right now. I mean, if you have shorts on maybe from the middle of this range, not so bad. That's about where mine are, and I'm holding on to those. But yeah, we'll see what price tells us. You just have to adjust to what price action is giving you. I mean, here are the details. It's right in front of you, right? And what's kind of crappy is, here we go, the 21's crossing below the 144. And if we go back, that only happened briefly, to be fair, right over here in middle of 2015 in this major consolidation. And so this could be something like a consolidation where we just go sideways for a while, like we did at 6K. 3K seems to have some pretty damn good support. But I mean, even on a weekly, look at this. Bears are very strong here. And you know, let's see, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, and they've just barely kind of got started too off of this. You know, this hasn't even been that long ago. I mean, this was just in November, so I'm still, like I said, leaning to the bearish side. Let's go to the monthly. Yeah, you can see on the monthly too, which will close today, I believe. Yes, it will be today, here in about 4 or 5 hours. You know, we're getting more rejection, and we're going to close below the 55 monthly exponential moving average. Definitely not sexy price action. All right, let's look at the 377 longer term, so we can see a little bit of support to the downside, where that would land us. And you can see it's right in this green box that we have drawn, and there's just barely enough data to populate it right here. So there should be some major support at about 1800 to 2000. I don't think it's very likely that we go below there. And even if we do, it would probably be a really fast wick, you know, just like a boom, boom, and then something like that. I mean, and this would probably happen in, I would guess, a matter of hours if we get something like that. But yeah, so you can see major support in that range. I believe even volume profile kind of shows that. If we can pull that up. Let's see here. If we do like that, Go over here. Yeah, so you can see that on the volume profile, there's a big fat node in this range. So there's going to be a lot of buying. And you can see about how I just drew that little dip. You know, this gigantic volume node from about 550 to 1400 or 1300. You know, we could have just a quick flash, but I think that would be the extent of the move. If Bitcoin goes below that, it's going to make me a little bit nervous for Bitcoin itself. I almost think that if that happens, something's like replacing it, you know. That could totally be the case. All right. Back to daily. Actually, let's look at the daily since it's about to close on the monthly. Yeah, look at this boring consolidation. Oh my gosh. I hate that one real quick. Let me take that off. Not VWAP. There it is. So many volume. I need to clean some of those up. I don't even use most of those. All right. Oh, it dropped some frames, it looks like. Not that many, though, so it looks okay. Still, it looks all right. All right, so on the daily, kind of just really tight still, since it does close here in a handful of hours. If it doesn't pick up, it's not going to be great. 4 hours bearish, hourly's bearish. We're trying to do a little pump here, but hourly's bearish. Daily is neutral. 2 days bearish, 3 days bearish, weekly's bearish. How about monthly? No, monthly is neutral. Now, to be fair, in this whole chart, monthly never really got bearish in the power zone, even during all of this, you know. So I think that's definitely noteworthy. Let's go to a little bit longer of an index. I think BLX has a good one that goes back pretty much to the beginning of Bitcoin's tradable time. Yeah, you can see you know, like the DMI on the monthly, you know, never even got into the power zone. So this is just like one kind of gigantic bull market. I mean, really, you only got burned if you bought in like really certain spots, you know, like really small clusters here, like right here and right here, and it was really only for a short period of time. So, you know, that is kind of interesting. For the long term, hodlers, if you will. Hodl on. We need y'all guys to keep the stability in the price for sure. All right, let's go to Ethereum. Mr. Unicorn Shirt Man. Once this speed line broke here from this pump into the fork, broke it, even gave you couple days to you know, take off some of that long action if you did, and ultimately this big one closing below 25 the 21 and 55, and it's been ratcheting down to 21 ever since, just like Bitcoin has been. So not sexy price action either, and again getting rejected once more off the 21. Looks a little bit better. Actually, I'm gonna pull up ETH on Bitfinex. There we go. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, even on Bitfinex getting rejected too up here at the 55. So not looking too great. Again, would I initiate shorts here? No, I'm not going to do that. Not until we get confirmation. Look at this. Litecoin is super stacked. All the moving averages right here. That's pretty interesting. And it's neutral. Yeah, Litecoin doesn't look as bad as the other majors, that's for sure. It's even holding at 618. So that is kind of interesting. I didn't notice that before. Not that Litecoin is, you know, mama bear like Bitcoin is, but it's trying. But here you go, the last 4-hour candles, and one closes here in about 25 minutes. Looks like they're both going to be below the 21 exponential and their indecision type doji candles. So I don't put near as much weight obviously on Litecoin as I do BTC. All right, let's go to XRP. XRP had a nice pop here. You know, there's some people talking about it. It's like, oh, it's marking the bottom. You know, everybody keeps looking for the bottoms, and I swear I see more freaking just inverse head and shoulders and just bullish type patterns people are projecting on this stuff. But there's nothing to be bullish about in this price action. Not yet. I mean, could it bounce? And I'm talking about generally in the market, not specifically Ripple. But I mean, this doesn't look good. I don't see how people, I mean, it's bias, it's confirmation bias. People are probably long, you know, and they have been for a while, whether hopefully it hasn't been since, you know, the teens, thousands. But, you know, I know some people that have done that, and it sucks. But when you're making lower highs like this, 1, 2, 3, and now we're getting even below the midterm exponential in the purple, I mean, that's not a good sign. I just don't see the bullishness. Now, I do want to be bullish. I would love to be bullish. It's way easier to trade than a bull market. You don't really even have to be good at trading to make money in a bull market. The bear market's what will test you and test your real skills. But, you know, I think that comes with trading, since most people jumped in probably in 16 or 17. And most people didn't really trade either, any other type equities. It's tough to say. It does look like I'm getting a little bit of drop frames. Of course I am. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this a little bit short then. So let's go to equities, because they have been moving hardcore. Let's see, on the daily, go LTC. Action right here, you can see. We kind of rally that up, bam, bam, nice flag. It is looking to break out, but we do have major resistance coming up on this long-term trend line, which goes back to, let's see, how far does that go back to? I think all the way to, oh yeah, I think that's all the way to the lows of 08. Yeah, it is, and we had a couple touches here and over here. So, you know, this is a pretty good setup for the market here. If this does get confirmation, which if this daily can close up here around the 27, especially this weekly, like at the end of tomorrow, because we do have farm payrolls tomorrow morning. And if we just did like a measured move, I mean, we're putting it up here in the low 2800s off of that flag. So I don't know if it'll have that much juice up there. Maybe just come and tap the top of this consolidation range before it's sold off. But you know, the Fed is all talking about using their tools and whatever, printing money, whatever the hell they're gonna do. I mean, I'm not sure if that really matters. Price is king. So I mean, you can even see on a 4-hour, we consolidated around the 55, did an ultimate shakeout with our triple exponential dots here, which I said provide really nice support levels. And you can see it got caught right there and then went into bull mode on the DMI here right afterwards, and it hasn't looked back. It's been riding up the 21 pretty much since then. You know, I'll bite these kind of like this little consolidation, but still staying above the 55. We are getting a little bit of confusion in DMI showing, so we're kind of getting this price battling, but the bulls have regained their control over the last few days. So that's interesting. If they can maintain this momentum, I am looking for about 2,800 on the S&P 500. All right, let's go to Nasdaq. Oh, let me clarify that real. Just like this ratcheted up support. Yeah, if we pretty much lose this 2650 area, I'll be done with that longer narrative. So bulls need to just keep the party going here. They should have the momentum, because I know a lot of people are what's the word for it? Loss of words here. A lot of people are in disbelief of this rally. They're like, no way, it's going to sell off. It's going to sell off. Even one of my friends texted me the other day and was like, hey, how do I bet on the S&P, or on the on the S&P being below, you know, 230 or something by the end of the year? And it's just like, man, you start getting messages from people that don't trade equities like pretty much ever, and they want to use even options to do it. I think that's a sentiment indicator in itself. Anyway, on the long term, on the 4-hour, look at this on Nasdaq. We're getting above this long-term Fibonacci support, which is the 987, this gray line. This is like I said a minute ago with the ES. You can see though it did fail 1, 2, 3, And now here we are in the 4th attempt. So this is where they need to get that momentum going hardcore. If they stall out and this starts doing like this kind of rounded formation, even like this, and we start seeing the DMI fall off, even though they got picked up and scooped up, it's not going to be really great. But I think them not hiking rates and saying that they're not going to hike rates is giving the market a little bit of excitement for sure. And on this one, same kind of deal. It's not as pretty of a consolidation square, but you know, maybe around this area, what is that, about 71, 7200. Getting past this doji, this shooting star doji right here before the big sell-off, which is at about 70.50, closing a daily below, above that, I mean, should give us a nice run to the top of this range. So about 72, 7300. And if we zoom in, yeah, 4 hours looking really good on Nasdaq as well. So you got RSI up there, you got the DMI up there. But you know, all we have to hear though, that's what's crazy about these markets. We just hear Trump tweet something about no China deal, people are gonna freak out, which is funny. It's like, it's a bunch of hoopla. Whatever. I don't really care about any of that. I just watch the price. It doesn't matter to me why it's moving. Right, so oil's been on a nice tear here. You can see printed this support on the triple exponential blue dots here, bounced off of it, consolidated right around the 21 exponential. This is really good consolidation after a big move like this, and then just launched out, and it hasn't really tapped the it didn't really tap the 55 until very recently, earlier this week. So that's a really good sign. It does seem to be stalling out a little bit. If you can see on RSI, you're seeing weakness below the power zone, which is 70. And no, I don't call that overbought or oversold. That's stupid. That's a meme. It can stay above or below there for a long time. Like, let's just give you an example on the daily. Here it is. It's well below it, and it's well below it even all the way through here. It's oversold. You just got to buy it, man. And then it just goes down another freaking $20 and stays oversold the whole time. It just means that it's in the bearish power zone, kind of how I say that about the DMI. This is in the bearish power zone above the mid 20s. That's the same thing with RSI. If it's above 70, then the bulls are in control. If it's below 70, then the bears are in control. It's not overbought. Don't get sucked into that. I know when you read a lot of books and other crap, that's what people use and say, but it's not true. We all fall into it though, so don't feel bad. Just learn from it. All right, daily is closing though and consolidating now around the 55. So this isn't the worst price action, but as you can see on the daily, the bulls are having a little bit of hard time getting into the power zone on either DMI or RSI. So I don't have a position in oil right now. So you know, making a stab up to these really tight long-term exponentials is pretty likely though if we stay above here for the next few days into next week. I could see us bouncing up to about $60, because I mean, guys, look at this, 75 to 42. I mean, that's monstrous move. I mean, just look at that. That's 44% almost, and that happened in, you know, what is that, 2 months? October, November, so 2.5 months that happened. Whatever, we'll just call it 3. Like, wowza, right? But yeah, on the 4 hour, it's looking like it's losing a little bit of steam. You know, kind of get this little dumpy action. Yeah, that must have just happened today. Oh yeah, it did. Look at that, because I was watching this earlier this morning and I was like, man. But yeah, it's funny. I thought about fading it. I did not though. But yeah, would have been a good play because it's selling off real hard here. Interesting. But anyway, that is the oil. Let's go look at gold, because it's been on a monster run here. This little arrow I have, I'll show you in a minute why that's on there. You can see this little flag it made and did a little breakdown from it. Found support at the 21 and then ended up kind of starting to do that measured move. So you got to be careful with patterns. That kind of tricked everybody. That's why I'm not a huge pattern trader. I like to maybe use them for targets in case they do play out, but I really just like the exponentials. I mean, as you can see, I mean, look at this, 21 catches it, and then it helps you manage risk better. If you only use patterns, like, it's really hard to manage risk, and then you want to front run it and jump, you know, in front of the train and try to like get better prices than people. I don't know, it's just not the best way to trade, for me at least. 4 hour, you can see that we've been ratcheting up the 55 orange here for a while. We had a little blip, but ultimately staying above the medium term 144. And on gold, you know, the more you zoom in, the worse it is. Gold's a long-term asset. It's slow moving generally, so I usually only like to look at gold on a daily, or the 850 is pretty good too, but mostly on the daily. You can see here on the 850 it did play out pretty nicely, just riding up to 21, getting caught here, and then ultimately breaking out of this long-term resistance line, which I'm about to show you now. That goes all the way back to September 11. Way back over here at all-time highs of, you know, 1900. This is like when I first started trading back over here too. Yes, and I did buy some gold and silver. I remember buying silver at, oh my god, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I remember buying silver at like $40. Thought I was a genius. That was the first time I really got burned. That one hurt. But you know, whatever, it's all good. I still have some of it too. So, but anyway, you can see here a couple attempts. 1, 2, consolidation, tried to do it. It looked like it wanted to do it here in the beginning of the year, or beginning of last year. Couldn't make it. Yeah, gosh, I'm just still thinking about what I just said about the silver thing. That was a gut punch. But hey, you gotta live and learn, right? So we are trying to break out, and this is a weekly chart, which will close tomorrow. I don't know if this is going to be a false breakout or not. These exponentials are starting to look good, though. You can see all of them are curling up, even the triple exponential. So it does look pretty good. I guess let's go ahead and add a speed line here. If this speed line breaks, that momentum is probably going to be lost, and we'll probably come back and test the top of the, you know, something like that. I'm just making it up, but just to give reference. If we do break that, we'll probably come back and test the top of this channel, or maybe even this cross right here, which is at about 1300. So yeah, if gold holds above 1300, it's pretty damn bullish, that's for sure. Let's see if GDX is approving the move. Oh wow, yeah, GDX is looking really good. Had this little trend line on there. If y'all watched the show from a long time ago, we saw these like double head and shoulder patterns in here, which is pretty wild, inverted ones. And you know, I'm not really a huge pattern guy, but sometimes they do play out. And we hit the measured moves both times, here to here and here, and now we're just in super crazy breakout mode. This is getting a little bit frothy though for me, and we're coming up on long-term resistance here at the highest term exponential, which you can see 1, 2, 3.5, 4, 5, and here we are 6, and it kept getting rejected there. So that's why I'm not getting too excited about gold. In the farm payrolls tomorrow morning, gold usually moves really big, and if that is anything that's good to help support the great economy that we have, you know, gold will likely sell off. This might just be a little bit of since we didn't hike rates, you know, people are like, oh cool, gold's great again. But you know, that's kind of the price to me is kind of telling us be cautious here. I want to start actually fading some gold, and you might be able to do that. I know my buddy trades, or used to, I don't know if he does that anymore. This guy right here is getting murder fest. Dust is a triple inverse ETF on gold. I don't really trade these a lot. I just use options instead, but you could definitely do this if you're not savvy to the option game, for sure. It'll give you that 3x. Don't hold these very long though, because the contango in them is murderous. All right, back to BTC. His indicator. Showed it to some of my friends and they think I'm absolutely nuts. But Hershey's has got some smart money in it. All right, guys. It's been around forever. It is. It's got deep smart money. I'll just leave it at that. There's not some. Let's see. So what we're going to show you is the last few years, right? Look at this trend line. This is a monthly chart, by the way, on Hershey's. And you can see here, tap, finding some resistance. You even have the exponential printing above these candles, which means the trend is starting to change. And this is on a monthly time frame, so that is very significant. So just kind of keep that in mind, and we're going to scroll back here a little bit. All right, here is the 08 crisis, and here's the all-time high. Let's go to weekly. It'll make it a little bit better. Sometimes it's hard to see in the monthlies. All right, so here is a weekly, and look, it made a high in 05, ratcheted down, consolidated here on the medium term, exponential, while the market was rallying still really hard into all of this up into 07, or into early 07, late 06. This was still pretty, it was looking pretty good, but Hershey's wasn't, and it ultimately broke out of this consolidation pattern after a high right here at about 50 bucks, and that's July 07. That's pretty much right before the market started turning. It's right there. So, but this money, 2 years prior, Hershey stopped participating in the rally and was consolidating. This is some good distribution here. Interesting, right? Took about 2 years and then marked the sell-off. I guess what we could do real quick is I could go like this, and I could do that and do that and go there. All right, zoom in a little bit just to give you a little reference. All right, see that? All right, here we go. And so back, let me put this, I'm gonna start it